duty interrupted me there. I had to take a phone call about business. It actually pays the bills for the phone here, for everything else. Well, anyway, it's kind of thing is that I got a lot of grandchildren, and a lot of them don't know me. You know, and considering the situation that we have, they may never get to know me until they're old enough to know me on their own, and then by that time I'll probably be dead. And realistically, I'm 70 years old. By the time that they got out and free from their shackles, I shouldn't call it shackles. You know, my mother's, she thinks what she's doing is the best. And most time, when we always think, I think, for the best of the children, even when it's misguided, or you have a misconception of the other thing. For that matter, you know, hell, I've been deceived myself. So, but the closer you get to exit, the more you want to think about, you know, what you're leaving behind and feelings that you've hurt, and maybe you need to say, hey, I'm sorry, and sorry it turned out that way, and let's just leave it at that. You know, no one in my family has ever been just vindictive and, you know, just downright mean at heart. Even the ones that were deceptive, at least they just weren't deceptive on purpose, you know. Anyway, families are just always got a different kind of dynamic. You can't be that close and that, you know, and I don't know. All I know is God's in charge and I'm not. I like that saying, you know. God says he, you know, he says, I am that I am. I know that I am not that I am not. God, that's for dang sure. Well, anyways, back to YouTube and all the bowling stuff, and my wife just doesn't get it. And, you know, I got to thinking about that as I was stopping here waiting for no other situation. You know, I wanted to prepay over here at a place where I wouldn't have to stand around there and I could go about doing some other business. And the guys, no, we can't do that. I mean, who in the world's going to turn down money? No, we can't do that. We can only pay for what exits the yard. So if you get 2 yards now and 2 yards later, you got to pay 2 yards now and then 2 yards later and then 2 more yards. So that means that every time we get 2 yards, I got to pay for it. Why can't I just prepay? Because it's not part of the rules here. There we go. Always part of the rules. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, here we go. A little commercial break right quick. Grinds, coffee grinds. This is for my dear wife, Janice. As she sees me contorting my mouth around. It's just like when you used to dip stuff. She doesn't like it when I do the imitation voice of her either. Well, anyway, she's right. It does. Look at that. But it's not snuff. It's coffee grounds. Just so you get your caffeine intake. Look at that little pouch. You slip it in between your cheek and gum. And it's just like having a piece of heaven. Like coffee. Coffee. Like, how's that like coffee? Well, it's mixed with your own saliva. You don't spit, and you get a caffeine high. So you're doing all right. So back to YouTube, bowling, and all the other tinkering around that I did on YouTube. You know, at some point I would do little project things, you know, and I had them on YouTube. And I'm sure nobody learned anything about the projects that I was doing other than that they didn't want to do them the way I did them. Talking about guys got, you know, 4 thumbs. They talk about opposable thumbs. Everything on my hand opposes each other. I come from a father that is totally gifted. I mean, he could disassemble a freaking watch and put it back together. You know, a first grade education, yet he could do things like that. And I had to learn, basically, how to just slow down and just do things methodically slow. Even though it's going to take me 5 times longer than someone else, it's because my mind constantly is in gear, always churning and boom, boom, boom. It's not fast enough. Everything has to be fast and furious right now. Everything has to be that way. Go, go, go. Except for me walking. My walk is a slow, methodical gait, yet my brain is like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I think I should have, been on Ritalin or something. It's not just the external part. I mean, it's the inward workings that I have that are like that. I don't know. It's like having all these bowling balls. I did a display of bowling balls yesterday, and I took them all out and cleaned them up and was going to go bowling with them. And that's not even all of them. There's 13 bowling balls in the back of this truck, okay? And I use every one of them. Yesterday, I think I used, I took 6 and 2. I took out 8. I left 5, didn't use those 5. Maybe I'll use those 5 today. But 13, and then I have more at home. I have a pink widow that, a black widow pink urethane ball I didn't bring. I have a DV8 Hellcat that I didn't bring. I have a Phase 4 storm ball that didn't make the trip. That's 3 more. That's a total of 16 that I use or have used, not counting the Black Widow and the Venom that I gifted to someone else. But, I got a kick out of giving it to the people, and I hope that they're enjoying them and didn't sell them or something like that. You never know, but once you do something that you have an internal wanting to or nudging of the spirit, I think it's important that you do. And the other thing I'm talking about here to myself is that why in the world did you pick up bowling when you were 70 years old? I don't know. I could have picked up crocheting or quilting, I guess, or something like that. Gardening, Gardening's another thing. I don't mind doing it. It's just I want to hurry up and get it done. It's like, I want to hurry up, get it done, and then I want stuff to start coming on the vines. I don't want to wait 30 days. I want a microwave garden. Oof, blow it up right before me. So I think YouTube is self-evaluation. Looking at oneself and saying, okay, that's who you are. It's a reflection back at you. And, it's like I told myself before, if you don't like yourself, damn sure ain't nobody else going to like you. That's for sure. And how important is it to be liked? Apparently, very important, And I don't know why it's in there. I guess some people go, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. The person that says that is a freaking liar. I've yet to meet one person that truly did not care what other people thought. They will come around spouting that bullshit off all they want, and I just think there is a total deception. They're deceiving themselves. Affirmation. I think it's internal. It's ingrained into you as me as a person, as a human being, that we want to be affirmed by others. We want to be respected. We want to be appreciated. We want all these things, okay? It's just inside you to be that way. At least as the culture that I know. I've never met anybody that lived in the jungle and lived off the land and swung through the trees and had big plates in their mouth, blah, blah, National Geographic when I was a kid. Used to watch those people all painted up, sticking those plates in their mouth. They just absolutely, just amazed me with those big saucers. Blah, blah. I thought, I guess they could, serve their food up and carry it around with them all day. Anyway. Oh, my goodness. That brings back all kinds of memories about that. I've been speaking to myself for 10 minutes. I'm going to have to decide whether I'm going to put this on YouTube or if I'm just going to say, watch it myself again and see what I think about myself. You see this hat I have on here? That looks like some kind of buffalo or something up there, doesn't it? I think it's what it is. This buffalo hat, this comes from my alma mater. And when I went to school there, it was called the Southeastern Oklahoma State Savages. Savages, okay? Well, during the last 50 years, it'll be, well, the last 45 years, I guess. I graduated in, 76 from college, December of 76. So 48 years ago. They were the Savages. Now they're the Storm. Because after all, I mean, who's going to be offended by a storm? Well, I think everybody. But they don't mind saying, okay, you can be a storm. And the buffalo, when they were in a stampede motion, I guess, they would bring about a storm of buffalo, or a herd of buffalo, and all that crap. I don't know how that all derived. Really didn't keep track of it until, maybe never really. I'm just speculation on myself. But this hat, I like the hat. I thought the hat was really kind of cool. It's, Savage Storm written on the side of it. And the colors, are really good, gray and black. Fits good with an old man's whiskers and like that. So I've talked a lot about nothing, and that's what I think a lot of this YouTube stuff is a lot of people talking about nothing except for their hobby and what they're interested in, and cooking and sewing and golf and badminton and croquet and bowling and mechanic and being able to be a mechanic and changing brake shoes and shocks and changing a car and reviving an old car from 40 years ago. Will it run? Driving one after it hadn't run in 40 years, and you go out there and you beat it all together and you get it to run, and then you drive it for 700 miles. Who pays for the insurance for that crap? I mean, that car hadn't been inspected in 40 some odd years. It damn sure most time won't pass an inspection, because the old boy will be talking about it only having one brake and one headlight. You strap a freaking flashlight on the back of it for a tail light or something like that. So I wonder why the cops just can't watch that and say, okay, here it goes. Let's go. Let's see if we can't find this guy. This Vice Grip Garage is going down the freeway tonight. Let's see how many tickets we can give him. That car hadn't been inspected in 45 years. Now, granted, he is an excellent mechanic, and he keeps those things all glued together and going down the road. And anybody can crank something that hadn't been cranked up in 40-something years. You got to say, okay, you know a little bit about old-style engines and way to keep them moving. So I'll give you that. So anyway, my conversation has roamed and roamed and roamed. I guess it's because I have a buffalo on my head, right? Home on the range.